This week's episode of Real Dudes Podcast is brought to you by Razer. Razer is the world's leading gaming brand. So head on over to www.realdudespodcast.com/affiliates and click on that Razer tag. Welcome to the realest of dudes. My name is Kyle, and with me we've got Donovan.
What's up? What's up?
And we got Karrington.
Hey, hey, hey.
And then there's Cody.
Howdy, y'all.
My name's Kyle. And we like to talk about games.
Yes.
What kind of games?
Any specific type of indie games, that is.
So not AAA games?
We talk AAA games, but we like to focus on indie games and their developers, boys. So we are Real Dudes Podcast, the greatest indie gaming podcast that you've ever heard in your life. And we got quite the show for you. Gonna just kick things off right here and just say we got quite the show for you.
Oh yeah!
Great intro.
Bring
Great
it
intro.
on.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I appreciate
wonderful.
that. On a
I
scale
have
of 1 to 10.
something I have to tell you guys.
Oh, okay.
It's Donovan's fault for opening that stupid box.
Uh-huh.
I have something that I need to show you guys.
Okay.
All right.
I can make people appear on command.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Prove it.
you guys watch this. You guys ready for this?
Okay.
What am I doing here? Again?
Whoa! It actually worked.
Please stop experimenting with these powers or whatever you want to call them. I have a family, man.
Roger, you're live on the show.
Oh, well, in that case, you can find me over on GamerheadsPodcast.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at GamerheadsPC, and you can also follow us on Podbean at GamerheadsPodcast.podbean.com.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping by. See ya. So what you guys think?
What just
That could come in handy.
I didn't believe
Right?
it.
This is how I roll now, guys. Get on my level.
I expect some spontaneity from you and your so-called guests.
Oh, don't you guys worry
Your
about this.
captives,
I
your
got
whatever you call them. I don't know.
as George Lopez would say.
You are like the real life, what was it? Hugh Jackman? What's that movie about magicians that you absolutely love?
Huge Jackman.
You mean The
The
Prestige?
Prestige? The what?
It was an X-Men.
X-Men? The magician? I guess. Oh, okay,
Yes.
that's
Scarlett Johansson was in it as well, and Christian Bale.
Man.
It's a fantastic movie.
For some reason I was thinking of The Greatest Showman, and definitely not the right one.
Oh dear.
Well, he brings
Sorry.
people in too. He just calls their name and they come into a circus ring.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I guess
kinda.
it's true.
Kinda.
But he wasn't a magician.
So is his name Huge Jackman now?
Huge Jackman.
Huge Jackman.
Anyways, glad you
Huge
could join us
Jackman.
for the greatest indie gaming podcast that you've ever heard as we bring random people on, and talk about movies.
And Hugh Jackman,
And
the
Hugh
actor.
Jackman. That's Hughe Jackman.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anyways, Cody,
Hug Jackman. Got it.
before we started recording, you mentioned that you picked up a game that we absolutely loved last year that you didn't play last year, but you play now, called Dead Cells.
Yeah, I have, and I hate it. It's so infuriating.
Oh dear. Here
Do
we
you
go.
actually hate it, or is it just
No, it is. It's so much fun. It's just so infuriating
okay?
because I'm no good at it. I can speed through it, but I get into tough scenarios or I get a cool weapon and then I die because I'm an idiot.
And then you get mad.
And then I get mad, and then I'd have to do the whole thing over again. Or I go to the toxic sewer thing, and
Those...
fall. I hated that dungeon.
Yeah.
I'm not going back there.
I avoid the
refuse.
toxic sewers and go to, I can't remember the other.
Yeah, there's
The
one
other
that's like
dungeon.
high up in like these towers kind of thing.
Okay.
That's a little easier route.
Is there certain attributes or certain weapons that you find yourself being more drawn to?
One time I had a giant golden hammer, which burned people. That one was fun.
Okay.
And then I got killed by this giant dudes with two sword axes. And
Those
then
are
I
called
had
swaxes.
Swaxes.
Wow.
Okay. And then I had an electric whip, which
Yep.
was also really cool.
I heard the electric.
I gave
was
up on the
best.
shield. I hate the shield.
Yeah,
I
shields,
just dodged
not
under
popular
everything.
choice.
So I paired the whip with a bow, and then that worked well. And then I got killed by Swaxes. I got killed by Swaxes a lot. And acid.
Have you had the opportunity to use anything ice related?
I have had freezing grenades,
Okay.
but that's it.
Let me
I
give
know
you,
there's ways you can there's weapons that stack off of do more damage against freezing
Yeah.
targets or do more damage against burning targets. I just haven't encountered those things yet.
just a pro tip. Any ice bow plus like a quick sword. You freeze them,
Okay.
you get in there, hit them with a sword, they're done, you move on to the next character. And then you can freeze multiple targets at once.
Sweet.
And it really helps the first boss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
boy.
Okay.
That's and for the sword guys, because they dash towards you.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Like I'm
it
trying to run
freezes
away
them.
and use a potion.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. It's I don't know, it's not cheating, but it's definitely helps you out.
I bet.
Get
Gotta
through
find
that
a bow.
part. So Cody, last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, you had briefly mentioned Hand of Fate 2 by Defiant Development, and you've actually been playing through that game now,
Yes.
and from my understanding, enjoying it.
Yes.
Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about Hand of Fate 2?
So Hand of Fate 2 is a sequel from Hand of Fate 1. Imagine that. Created by Defiant Development, which have like a monkey as their logo, which is kind of cool. Hand of Fate 2 is a card-based game, I guess. I don't know how to actually denounce it as what kind of category it comes under. So Hand of Fate 2 puts you under scenarios, and then your character picks, like, do I kill the dude? Do I help the dude? Do I just leave and let the dude fight on his own type thing? And each choice changes the rest of the story along.
Okay.
But as you progress, you gain more cards, which then your cards change up your scenarios and they give you more weapons to unlock and different encounters and all these different things. And then either you go across the board and you try to there's a goal after each mission, and you have to pick the cards that you want to use throughout that mission, which is great because then you can choose whether you want all your new stuff and possibly screw yourself up by no longer having the cards you need, or go the easy route and pick the cards you know, and like you don't have to go into combat and all that stuff. And then you do go into combat, and then it throws you into like a For Honor type combat scenario where you're actually fighting with swords and bombs and grenades and stuff like that, which is neat to see because you don't really get that with card games, because it's not like Hearthstone where you're just like click this card and attack his card and end your turn here type thing, because I was never into those. But
I was just about to ask you if you were into video games that are card games, essentially.
not normally.
Okay.
I
It's
guess
like when I was a kid, I collected Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh
That's
cards.
everybody,
right,
though.
right.
Everybody.
Yeah, but you never I never dueled with that stuff because I never understood it and all that. And then Hearthstone is like, oh, the Pokemon gamers who actually battled with cards now have a video game for it.
Is it kind of like a mesh between, like, when I was researching the game, does it feel like a mixture between a board game and an actual video game?
Very much so. It's like you're playing D&D, and then you get into a combat scenario, and then you're in a video game.
Okay. Yeah, it's really cool.
I know I say it a lot, but it's a neat concept.
Is your interactions with the game mostly battles and picking cards, or is there platforming or mazes?
It is very much just picking your cards and then going into battle scenarios. No mazes, no puzzles. There are in-game dice, which are most likely rigged because I get a lot of ones and skulls. And then so you pick cards out of shuffled piles in order to success or fails or huge fails, or there's one where you go inside a burning building and you try to rescue people. I didn't do too well on that one. I saved the daughter, but they let the husband die. I'm terrible at card
She's a
picking.
damsel in distress.
Yeah, that was no fun. But it would be neat if there were like mazes and platforming, just to change it up a little bit. But I enjoy the way that it's very much of a laid back, very limited stress game. If that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That kind of leads me to the to my other question that I had. You saying being laid back, with cards and combat being integrated together, do you find that the learning curve is to be steep or something that's easy for anyone to pick up?
At first, the combat is tricky because you have to know when people are about to attack so you can parry them, or know when to stun them. So at the beginning, I mostly just like somersaulted and rolled around until I could get a swing in. But you learn after a while and how to dodge and parry and stun accordingly and kick goblins until they surrender.
It sounds almost like a Souls-like game, or like Ashen.
Never
Did you
played
get a
Ashen.
chance to? You haven't. Yeah, it's very much kind of learn the enemy's attack and then learn how to evade it and then strike whenever they're vulnerable.
Okay. Get that sense.
Interesting. So, what kind of gamer would you recommend this to?
More of the person who just wants to sit back and relax and play a video game. Very limited stress. someone like Kyle who plays video games on his work breaks or just sits in the hospital and doesn't do anything on a Switch or whatnot.
Wow.
Because I don't know what he does at work. Because all I hear is, yeah, I played this game at work and that game at work. But
That's all I hear too.
yeah. It's like, how was work? Yeah, I got through like 5 levels of Dead Cells or whatnot.
I mean, come on. It's not. It's not. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bowie.
She's having a hard time going to sleep tonight.
Carrington, did you make her appear too?
I did.
Oh, there
I
you
did.
Whoa.
I do more stuff at work. I actually work, but I also play games.
Card games too.
And I've kind
Okay.
of I'm not gonna say I've influenced others to bring their Switch, but there are people that play video games there too.
Okay.
So, I mean, I probably work like 4 hours out of an 8-hour shift, and then play games for 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And in an 8-hour shift, I spend like 4 hours on Reddit and like 4 hours working, so I understand.
Yeah.
Now, Cody, would you say, like, maybe during a lunch break or something like that, would it be easy to pick up for 30 minutes to an hour and not feel bad for having to put it down? Because a game like, for example, Breath of the Wild, I can't give it 30 minutes or an hour. I have to give it 3 to 4 hours each time I play it. With Hands of Fate, can I easily get in and get out if I need to?
Oh, for sure. Like, all your progress saves, so if you're in the middle of a mission and you have to quit, you do all that just like any other video game. But it's not like I'm invested in progressing through this dungeon, and if I leave, I lose the momentum or whatnot. It's very slow paced. Like, go on your own, and you can, at the beginning of every mission, you can choose whether you want to make it difficult or make it easy based on the cards you pick. So if you know you only have X amount of time, you can make it easy if you need to. I'm playing with my keyboard,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. So is there like any... I know you're the only one who got a chance to play this game. Is there any kind of multiplayer aspect to it at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's DLC that they've done, but I don't know. Yeah, I haven't gotten those, so I don't know if they introduce anything new with those. But I
Okay.
feel like it'd be odd to have a multiplayer on this. Because
Okay, so it's not like or Hearthstone. It's just two people with cards slapping them down and going right at it with whatever deck they have. Kind of
yeah,
thing.
no, it's very single player wise. Unless they had like a mode where it's like endless combat, and then you team up with somebody and do it that way. But very single person based.
Okay.
Apologize if this is already mentioned, but was there any kind of boss fights or any, deal with dungeons and stuff? And one of the most important, like, seems like one of the most important characters in the game is the actual guy that you're interacting with, the dealer. Does he ever throw any curveballs at you, like boss fights or anything? Or
There's
stronger
like the
enemies, I
leader
guess?
of the Thieves Guild or something like
Okay.
that you have to fight, but no major boss encounters.
Okay.
That would change it up and would be really neat.
Yeah.
They might be in the late game stuff. Haven't made it that far yet, but it could be, and that would be really cool.
Okay.
So I encourage
Well-
you to try it, or at least watch a video on it. Because
Hand of Fate 2.
the sequel to Hand of Fate 1.
By Defiant Development. Cody, 1 through 10, how would you rate this?
Solid 8.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I don't write a lot of video games, so
Okay.
my list of comparisons is very small. Because you and all your Switch games that I don't get to play.
Hey, man, we're trying to
So-
be a little bit more open.
Hey, whatever.
to-
I'll
and-
stay here with my Xbox and Steam and just play what you give me. But this
Well-
this one's one that I chose, so
yeah,
it was a
that's,
good pick.
yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Something that I definitely want to pick up as well. Give it a shot. And it can be picked up on Steam, Xbox, Switch, and I
so.
think PS4 as well. All right.
You guys want to see something great?
What?
I'm gonna bring in somebody to introduce the next. Just the break. You ready for this?
So, where am I exactly?
Don't worry about that, man. Where can people find your show that I've been on 4 times and Kyle twice?
Yeah. Play Comics is over at playcomics.com, or Meddling Kids is over at meddlingkidspod.com.
Great. Now tell everyone we're taking a quick break and then the news.
Okay, enjoy this break, and Real Dudes will be right back, and they can have some news and an off topic afterward, and probably some snacks.
What's up, everybody? I'm Tyler,
I'm Lucas. And I'm Chris.
and we're better than Static. We meet up once a week and talk about movies, comics, and video games.
I don't want to talk about that.
What? Why are you complaining about all the topics I bring up? I'm trying to sound professional, Chris.
But we're not that good.
We are too good.
We may not be great, but we are better than Static.
You guys can hit up iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and YouTube to check us out.
If you like video games, debates, and silly banter, you'll love Gamerheads Podcast.
Outside of your store, because I do feel like your store knows its identity. I do. I think that you guys know what you are. No?
Not always.
Really?
It sells fidget spinners.
Well,
Not anymore. I mean, for a while. but-
not
I mean,
anymore.
Not,
You're
that much.
experimenting
Not
with
anymore.
That's what I'm saying, though. You were just experimenting.
Golf was made by a Japanese guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go Iwata.
yeah.
Oh, the game.
Yeah, not the
Okay.
sport.
Yeah.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
Well, speaking of Nintendo,
Follow Gamerheads on Podbean at gamerheadspodcast.podbean.com.
All right, Carrington. This whole making people appear thing is. I can foresee that getting
It's
a
creepy.
little out of hand.
Yeah.
Just randomly just throwing that in there for us. But either way, you threw some ads in as well, so we know you listeners love listening to the ads that we have on.
So wait. So Carrington can make people appear. Donovan can talk to anyone and just ignore us completely.
Ferocious F5. Don't listen to Kyle and Cody. They're just jealous because the Martin brothers now have superpowers and they don't. Pathetic. Ferocious F5.
So me and Kyle are just sitting here with nothing. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna investigate.
feeling a little
Don't,
bland.
don't worry. Superhero
superhero
take
does-
time.
I'm
Some
gonna
superhero does take time.
investigate.
Yes.
I'll figure something out.
You must look within. You must look within.
Maybe I could be cool, like I could summon a beer into my hand.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, let the force flow through you.
Believe in the heart of the cards.
Through it. Into my bladder, into the toilet. All right. So we got some news. Some great news for you guys, and I know that Carrington and myself will be really excited about this one, and Cody will not. Nintendo Switch sales
Good
report
God.
14.5 million units sold over the last 9 months.
Not for me, they don't.
The last 9 months, 14.5
We all know it's to
million.
get Breath of the Wild, and that's
So-
it.
That's insane, actually.
Since launch, we are at 32 million units.
Wow.
Good lord.
That's a lot of
of money.
Switches.
Wow. Lots of people.
And
That's an average. That's an average of 16 million units a year at the moment.
A lot of people
Sis-
not saving
Yep.
saving people's lives at the hospital.
just playing games. And so Super Smash Brothers released in December, and it's already sold 12 million units.
Wow, that's impressive. You're
Yeah.
talking roughly half the units out there have Smash,
Yeah.
roughly, not exactly.
I feel
but
like that was a
roughly.
lot of people's motivation to get a Switch too. I feel like a lot of Switches were bought over the last month. Not like out of the 32 million, but I feel like
Since Christmas.
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
since Christmas, I mean,
Christmas, Black Friday, all like the Switch sales probably increased when Smash
yeah,
was
released.
releasing.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of sales, being related to a Smash release, Metroid Prime 4
Really?
got scrapped by the original studio. By its original studio, yeah. And Nintendo is giving it to Retro Studios, who
Okay.
made Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. So they're now developing it.
Which is great.
Yes. But from the way Nintendo made it sound like, they are completely restarting development on the game at
That's
this
kind
point
of
in
sad,
time.
but I mean, at least we're gonna get a quality game.
Do you
Agreed.
feel like that was a smart decision to scrap and put, or are you disappointed because we won't be seeing it released as soon?
Personally, I like the decision because if Nintendo didn't like the product and if they were willing to make a couple, nerds essentially unhappy for a little while longer, I think ultimately that was the smart move because they could ultimately ruin the entire franchise with a bad game. So whatever they saw must
I
have
mean,
been
that's
garbage.
a pretty good business
honestly.
practice. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You catching my drift? Not naming no names. I'm just saying.
It was a smart move. It was a smart move by an incredible company that has an incredible system that I think everyone should have.
works.
Everyone. It works.
Xbox?
Nintendo Xbox. Speaking of Xbox, well, and all other systems, Overcooked 2 gets a Lunar New Year update with new levels, and it's free. So,
Oh, yes.
watch out, Overwatch. There's new over in town, and it's Overcooked with the Lunar New Year, and it's offering free content.
So if you want to role play as Phil the Chef, this is your game.
Or if you want to be a cute raccoon in a wheelchair, this is your type of game.
Or that.
Yeah.
I was playing
So
Overcooked 2 yesterday with two of my friends. I just got them introduced to it. It is extremely difficult right off the bat. And it sucks. It's like everything's moving and you have so little space, and 3 players is difficult.
And it can tear friendships apart.
I introduced it to a newly married couple, so.
Oh, great.
Oh, boy.
Game
because I'm like, oh, it's a game that Kyle and his wife play. So I'm like, oh, it could be a couple's game.
Yeah.
And then. Oops. Sorry.
Not quite.
If you're listening to this, hope you make it to 1 year. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Overcooked 2 is a game that I need to get back to. It's been way too long since I played, and the good thing about it, if you haven't played the second one yet, it does have online play. So if you got friends that you want to play with across the world, state, country, whatever, you can connect with them online with it. It should be crossplay as well, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Yep. So
I hate to say this, but I don't exactly have control over my powers.
Well,
I think I just made Kyle disappear.
I'm pretty sure you had control over that one. Good move.
But Kyle's not a guest, though. Like, can you make any of us disappear?
He's a full-time guest?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I know I can bring people in and make them disappear, but sometimes it just kind of happens. I'm sorry. So, in the meantime, Farm Together launched on the Nintendo Switch Friday. Launched on Friday, February 1st. Sorry, to get that out. Farm Together launched on Switch Friday, February 1st. By the time this comes out, it will have launched because we are recording it before February 1st. It's an interesting game. If you want to play it with your family or friends, you guys imagine Farm Simulator, but a little on the cartoony side, and you just kind of, farm together. It's gotten great reviews so far, but if you're interested, that's
what they need
there.
to do is add, I don't know, say a dungeon, perhaps some monsters, perhaps some of those mechanics along with it. I don't know.
Plants
Oh,
vs.
that's a
you
Zombies.
mean like
idea.
Stardew Valley?
A 3D version of Stardew Valley. Yes.
Which Stardew Valley, I think, does have its multiplayer released at the moment. So if you guys want to play that multiplayer, that's available as well.
Side note.
In other news, a game. So I just want to let people know we are recording this on January 31st. Tomorrow, February 1st, Wargroove. Gosh, I can't speak. Wargroove will be released.
Wargroove.
Oh boy, I cannot wait for this game. I am actually going to stay up until midnight to play this. I have been waiting for this game since its announcement at E3.
Oh, really? It was that long ago?
2 years ago, I believe, if I remember right. Yeah, we had just switched to an indie podcast when this was announced. And Chucklefish is making this game. Maybe that name does sound familiar because they did publish Stardew Valley and they also made Starbound.
Name
so
dropping.
those are some two fantastic games by that studio. I know. So Wargroove is a turn-based strategy game. It is literally the spiritual successor to Nintendo's Advance Wars. If you guys have never heard of it, I would definitely check it out. The story in that game is top-notch,
Yes,
and Donovan and I had a ton of fun with it back
Saturday afternoons, well into the night, just playing one mission. It was intense.
Oh yeah, and it was intense. And back then, because if I remember right, that was one of the games that required a cartridge. So, because of that, Advance Wars did allow for multiplayer on one cartridge on the same Game Boy Advance. So we would pass the Game Boy Advance around all the time.
Yeah, but which one was it where you could do the whole connector thing?
So
where you would connect all the Game Boy Advances, and then I think you only needed one copy, and we all get to play on our own. Wasn't there?
I think Advance Wars 2 came with that feature, but the original one did not.
That was kind of rough because it's like, well, what are you doing? What's your strategy? Because sometimes we would, be on a team and stuff. But
exactly, and which is why I'm excited for Wargroove. So not only does Wargroove have options like that, but you can also play online with your friends. It's got co-op available. It's got a versus mode available. You can play with random strangers if you want to. But the biggest thing that was literally just announced within the past week was it also is cross-platform compatible. So it releases tomorrow on PC, Switch, Xbox, and PS4. The only thing though is the PS4 version was not announced to have cross-platform compatibility. So,
because Sony is lame.
I know, right? I know, Sony. Not playing nice with the other kids. But if you have it on Steam, Xbox, or Switch, you can certainly play it on any of those platforms with your friends. And I noticed that on the store listing, on the Microsoft store listing, it is an Xbox Play Anywhere game as well. So if you buy it on the Xbox through the Microsoft Store, you can download it on your Windows 10 PC as well. Yeah, so Chucklefish went all out for this game, and I am super excited. So expect a review from us on the next episode, because I will be devouring this game. Yeah. I guarantee it.
I mean, it looks good, and it brings back a lot of memories just from the style.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I'm very excited. So in other news, moving on, we got an email. So I definitely want to announce this. Those Who Remain, developed by Camel 101, is planned to release later this year. Now, Kyle in our note said read over Steam info. So since I accidentally made him disappear, I will see what I can do.
I see.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It says survive by staying in the light, escape by traveling between worlds, find out what happened to Dormont, which is the town you're in, and decide what happens to you. So it is available on Steam right now. It is not in there for early access, so don't expect to buy this early on. It does currently have a release date for 2019 at some point. Not sure
So
when.
vague.
Thank you for. I know there isn't a whole lot right now, but from the looks of it, it does look very Alan Wake-ish.
There's a trailer, so go and watch that.
Yeah, there's a trailer on the Steam page. Also, it also reminds me of. I can't remember the other game I'm thinking about. Amnesia, sorry. Yeah, Amnesia. So if Alan Wake and Amnesia had a baby,
Like a freaky
I
game?
feel like this is.
Oh, it is
Really?
a thriller horror game. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. It is a thriller horror. Yep.
So it could kind of be like an Outlast type situation. Possibly.
Possibly, but from the trailer, it doesn't look that crazy.
Okay.
Hopefully, because
There's more
game's
more
creepy.
light than there is in Outlast, so that's good.
Yes, for sure.
That's creepy.
But from the looks of it, it does look really
Looks
cool.
neat.
So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for it. I'm sure we'll give you guys updates. Because I'm not a fan of horror movies, but a good horror game I'm all for. So I loved Alan Wake. It's a great game, and deserves more love.
Outlast was fun until they taught you to. This is how you run forward and look behind you. At that
Right?
point, I quit because I'm like, why am I gonna have to run forward and look behind me? And I didn't want to do it anymore.
And here's a camera to see at night. Why do I need to see at night? Why can't I just see in the light all the time?
Oh, you're out of batteries? Oh well.
So as far as news goes, guys, that's all I got. So EA has just canceled
Surprise, surprise.
another Star Wars game and has shut down
Which studio?
another studio.
Lovely.
So I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. I'm sorry, guys, because this is old news by now. So, but however, the question remains: was it right for Disney to give the Star Wars license to EA?
Do you want me to?
Disney, I don't know if Disney would have made another Star Wars game.
Say that
Would
again, Cody, I'm
Disney have
sorry.
made a Star Wars game? Or would they have given the rights to somebody other than EA to do Star Wars
So that's the
games?
interesting thing. They do have an in-house video game studio with Disney Interactive, but
Kingdom Hearts,
and
right?
there's see, that's the thing. They're now basically relished to publishing games. They don't make
Okay.
games anymore.
Well,
But the games that Disney Interactive made were actually really good. So I'm surprised that Disney has essentially relegated them to just publishing.
well, I don't know. Personally,
Donovan,
I would
thoughts?
think that. I mean, I don't know the whole situation of it all, but shutting down LucasArts, I wish they hadn't have done that. And just let LucasArts do their thing and start publishing more games, because even though we did get 2 new Battlefronts from EA, we all know how both of those went down. But
They're still alright.
they're not bad, but
Yeah, they're not bad games, but they're not great
Yeah.
either. And I was just telling this to someone. I would much rather have
Force Awakens
a
3.
combination of. Yeah, I would much rather have a combination of great games and crappy
Yeah,
games
like,
than
just
have
give us
just
something.
2 games.
Yeah.
and because all I keep hearing now are different projects that are being started up for Star Wars games, and then I keep seeing headlines about EA canceling all these Star Wars games. And I'm like, well, what's the point of having the license to make the games if you're not going to make any?
So does that mean like another studio can't just up and make a Star Wars game without Disney's backing?
Correct.
Okay.
So right now, the deal between Disney and EA,
Whoa.
the deal is for 10 years. Yeah. As of this year, 2019, we are now 6 years into that 10-year deal. And guys, something's coming. I can't control it.
What happened?
That was perfect.
Guys, I told you, I can't control this right now.
Listen. I don't know what just happened there. I don't know what I saw. I don't know if I can ever get what I saw out of my head. But Karrington, I do not like this power. And I feel very uncomfortable. I feel I don't know. I feel a little just creeped out a little bit. So
What did?
Keep in mind, you are alive.
that is true.
Now.
That is true.
Was he alive when he disappeared? Sorry. I dropped something.
Are you eating cereal?
No. My controller fell. We're good.
All right. I don't know. I missed out on everything here, so
We were just finishing up.
you know what? Just keep on chatting here, guys, and I might chime in if I feel like I should, or I might just stay quiet and try to recover. So, yep.
Thanks for listening to Real Dudes. This has been the Real Dudes podcast.
The tweeters, Instagrams.
And our YouTube. We have a new YouTube video where Karrington discusses food.
Yes.
Yes, this is true. But can we get back on
Yeah,
topic
Star
really
Wars
quick?
and
Star Wars. EA, let's do this. So I think the last thing I said was we are currently 6 years into the 10-year deal between EA and Disney. So essentially they will have it for 4 more years as long as Disney does not renew this deal.
Well,
Can they end the
And
deal
this is-
prematurely if
they
they,
already
like suck
kinda
at it?
suck at it.
I believe so. So with the whole Battlefront 2 loot box fiasco, Disney, I know from what I've heard, in news articles and things like that, I don't personally know anyone inside either of those two companies. But from what I read on different articles, like on Game Informer and all those other places, Disney did threaten in a way
Needs
to
more
take
than a
away the
slap
Star
on the
Wars
wrist,
license.
though. More than just a
Disney
slap on the
threatening.
wrist.
I agree, and I agree with you on that. So here's my thing. This is what I was reading in quite a few interviews from employees recently that were working on these Star Wars games. They said what they had story-wise was amazing, and the fans would have loved it. The problem is the president of EA, the CEO, the man himself who's calling all the shots.
These loot boxes.
These loot boxes. He is requiring all games made by EA to use the engine they made. I can't remember what it's called right now for some reason, and I'm losing it.
Yeah.
That EA Dice made for Battlefront and Battlefield.
Frostbite.
That engine, the Frostbite engine. I don't.
I think Frozen Bite. It's a different company.
Yeah. So yeah, all games are required to use the Frostbite engine, which it's not made for everything. So, and a lot of these developers are having issues trying to develop these games within the Frostbite engine. So what do you guys think about this? Because a game like Battlefront, which is why we've seen it, it's similar to Battlefield, which, I'm sure it wasn't super hard for DICE to just take the engine and go from Battlefield to Battlefront. But for a company who has never had a chance to work with the Frostbite engine is having trouble adapting any other kind of game to be able to work with this engine.
Not quite,
It's
because
not fair.
I don't know, just following kind of the same formula type thing, almost forcing them into like a box. You can only make this kind of game, and I want you to do this.
Yep.
It's not fair
It's
to
not-
the people. Like,
No.
it's like putting
consumers?
games off because they're forcing them to do it their way.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the consumers.
Yeah. It's almost, in a way, bullying, I guess. I mean, if that, if they're really forcing Frostbite, that's not allowing people to really be creative with what they're used to, and possibly creating great content from other software.
Yeah, I mean,
And the other thing too is because BioWare, who we all know is also owned by EA, it said that they had a lot of trouble developing the Mass Effect Andromeda to adapt to the Frostbite engine. And there were many, many, many other reasons why that game is not the, up to standards with what we expect with that franchise. But I can kind of see that because, the way the animations looked, the way the people looked, just weird and odd things like that were just off with that game that you wouldn't expect from a game from that franchise that's been so massively popular for many, many reasons. Yup.
Quick question, and again, I don't know if you guys mentioned this because I was in some other dimension looking at weird things that I don't want to talk to you guys about. I just don't want to talk about it. So, the initial discussion of this conversation here is that EA canceled another Star Wars game that was supposedly
we don't
an
need
MMO.
another Star Wars MMO.
That's what I was thinking, because originally there's
There's Galaxies, and then there's the Old Republic.
Galaxies.
Which, yep.
So what more would you need? I mean, was it considered an open world Star Wars game?
That I didn't read too much into, because if it was an MMO, that'd be, yeah.
Either way, if it's open world MMO, it is open world either way. I mean, does it truly hurt you guys that they canceled this game?
me-
I mean,
Yes.
okay.
Because from what people were saying, it was going to be the Uncharted of Star Wars,
Okay.
basically.
So not quite.
They will probably try and twist it
It's a
into a
little
way
more
to
linear.
make it a multiplayer centric thing, and then have the linear story on its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
They just need to take the idea. I mean, there's so many great
Interesting.
open world games that have been releasing the past year and a half, and that's all they really need to do is just literally copy any of these open world games, slap Star Wars onto it, and you're good for a little while to come up with something else.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen not a whole lot of people like Ubisoft because they seem to they're really good at adapting their engine
Yeah.
to a lot of their different games that they have, whether it's Ghost Recon, Far Cry. Now it's going to be
It would
Beyond
have
Good and
to.
Evil, but I think that gets a custom engine, basically. Just any other game that they have in-house, whether they have to create a new engine or if they're recycling an engine, they're really good at that. And a lot of people are like, well, why Ubisoft would have been a better fit, they feel like, if they were going to do this. But here's my thing.
The beast
Back when
that it
LucasArts, was, creating their Star Wars game. Yeah, exactly. Either they created the game in-house or they would allow other publishers to create games for Star Wars. And whether that be Ubisoft or Activision or Raven Software, or it could have been anybody really. Anyone could have the freedom to make a Star Wars game back in the
I just
day.
don't get it.
Or even EA, because the Old Republic, technically EA had their hands in it before Disney even owned Star
And that
Wars.
was a really
So think
good
about that
game.
even. Yeah, I agree. That it's underrated in my opinion.
Is there a particular developer that you would like to see take over the Star Wars
Yes,
franchise?
LucasArts, back from the dead. But any current in business publishers, I have to think about that one.
Bethesda.
I wouldn't mind Bethesda, but they have a certain niche. I like variety in my Star
What
Wars
about
games.
Ubisoft?
Could you imagine?
I would love Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Honestly, Ubisoft or Activision.
Could you imagine a Star Wars game though in the vein of like a Skyrim?
See, that's
or
what I'm kind
Elder
of saying with
Scrolls?
like the open world
That
type
would
thing.
be
Just
so good.
slap a Star Wars skin over it.
There, I mean, and you wouldn't have to travel the galaxy in one game. They don't travel, the entire land in Elders. I don't know what the world's called in there, but they travel from Skyrim to Morrowind to place to place. They could make a Star Wars franchise starting out in one area, starting out in the Death Star.
because what do you call even Republic Commando only had not even 3 different areas. Yeah, and that was it.
It had
So, yeah, you
literally
don't have to
3 different
see
worlds.
every
yeah.
single planet in the Star Wars universe. Yeah.
In one game.
I mean, even Jedi Outcast had
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 at the most different locations. Because you revisited quite a few of them throughout the story. So yeah. Just what's already been said. You don't have to visit the entire universe in one game.
Just do one game, visit one planet, one area, one major area, and then wait a few years, come out with another game.
Yeah.
Another area.
And then you can visit 2
Yep,
areas.
not one, but 2. And then there could be a special character in the game called Karrington that just
This
teleports you into
what
this
is it
other
called? The
area.
World Between Worlds. That's where he could transport you to.
Yeah. Yep. Just
Yeah, exactly.
wow. Is that it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think pretty much, yeah.
Cover everything?
Yeah.
Is this
War Group comes out tomorrow, Kyle. Are you ready?
is this episode done?
Wargroove
Yeah.
comes out in like
Less than an
an
hour.
hour.
An hour. Oh gosh, I'm so ready for this. You have
Pre-
no idea.
Pre-ordered, downloaded. I'll be playing it at work tomorrow.
Of course.
I'm staying up until midnight and playing this game. You guys, gosh, you have no idea. This is what I've been waiting
Thank
for.
goodness for the current snowstorm coming in, right?
Yeah, that's
Boom.
yeah, buddy.
Yes.
Orange is the snow.
And then just let me put this out there for everybody to know. We do receive review codes for some games. Some games we do not. We were unable to secure any for War Groove, unfortunately, because it's a highly sought after game between a bunch of media outlets.
Unable to get one for Hand
So
of
it is
Fate.
not. Yes, exactly. So it is not cheap sometimes to grab these games. So if you guys feel like you want to have us continue giving you guys the latest and greatest reviews on the latest and greatest indie video games that are out there, feel free to donate to our Patreon, or feel free to just donate in general to our, Patreon or PayPal. So don't hesitate to do things
Or
like
buy a
that.
shirt.
We know you're listening. We see you. Or
Or
buy
a
a shirt.
hoodie.
Yeah, that helps a ton.
Right. Like Justin Blake did. He bought
Justin Blake.
a Real Dudes Podcast shirt, and we are grateful that he supports Real Dudes Podcast.
And you can too if you visit our Patreon. RealDudesPodcast.com has all the links you could ever want and need in your life.
So before we head out here, I just want to give a thanks to Camo 101. I'm sure you guys mentioned those who remained earlier.
Yep.
They emailed our podcast email to give us an update on the game, and they've emailed us about a couple other games as well. If you are a developer and you want us to mention your game on the show, email us at podcast@realdudespodcast.com. Give us a YouTube video, give us information about your game. We'll do our best to get that news out to everyone else. And if you have a game that you want us to play, feel free to send us a review code, because we will review it and we will play it and we will talk about it on the show and let our listeners know about it and let them know that they should check out your game.
Nicely said.
Yep.
Couldn't
That's
said
all I
it better
wanna say.
myself.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Alright. Carrington, you got any more special guests to close out this episode?
I think I'm good right now. I just head up to our YouTube channel. I just literally released a video as of this recording today. I compared and contrast the Bacon Big Mac, which is brand spanking new for McDonald's. So just head on over there if you want to hear my thoughts and reviews on that burger. And shout out to someone who commented already. So you can certainly check out our YouTube. We have different content on our YouTube channel. It's not just gaming stuff. So we're doing different stuff over there.
Doing all kinds of stuff.
Yay, yay!
All right. Well, I guess that's it, man. Everyone have a rad day.
Bye.
Bye.